Hello everyone, my name is DemiDon of DemiDon Games, and today we're going to be playing a game called Ambre, or Ambre. I think it's Amber. Pretty sure it's Amber. But, anyway, I was just looking around in, what is it called, Game Jolt? And, you know, just downloading some random games, and, this is one of the games right here. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. I highly doubt you can. But this monochromish girl right here, I'm going to assume is Amber. And it looks to be a wholesome story. I mean, I'll be looking forward to it. Oh yes, and it is a visual novel. So I think I'll just, you know, check this out, see what it's about. I'm going to assume that it's not exactly a long one, so we're gonna just start this right now and see if, you know, get things started here. What is this, in English? Okay. Nice. It was 7 p.m. On that beautiful yet cold autumn day, the wind shook the frail trees branches across the street. Tristan Mallory made his slow, tired way. A whirlwind of leaves caught his attention, and he stopped to contemplate them for a few minutes. A spray of colors danced around him, fragments of reds, oranges, yellows spread at random, forming a mosaic that stretched on the floor as far as the eye could see, endlessly. It was a rare beauty in that gray and fuming city, in that noisy metropolis constantly exhaling bad air. Coming back to his senses, the 30-year-old man shook his head. Now wasn't the time to be daydreaming. He had to go home. The day weighed on his shoulders, but if he was honest with himself, work wasn't the most tiring thing in his life. Since honest, well-paid work was somewhat a luxury these days, like any model employee, he consciously accomplished every task handed to him and did no more or less than what was asked. What was destroying him was a completely different form of fatigue, an appalling and crushing solitude that had been shadowing him for years, ever since his wife died, I guess. The light tinkle of the front door opening brought him back to earth. He was already at his flat. What the hell's a flat? Is a flat is that another way of saying a house? Okay, I assume so. Anyway. I sat in mute living room, sat waiting for him in morbid silence. Goosebumps traveled down his spine as he entered the room. Driven by desperation, he didn't even take the time to hang his coat correctly, but began slamming all the doors, one after the other. Each time, the same emptiness answered his pleas. He felt a rising dread within. His last hope was the last door in the forbidden room beyond. He opened it slightly and peeked inside. Of course, there was no one. So is this guy's going mad or something? Is this guy going crazy? Constantly coming back looking for his wife or something? He fell heavily onto the sofa. Crushing solitude came back in full force, crushing him again and again, wounding his face with invisible cuts, the cuts of time. It was happening again. All of a sudden, Tristan Mallory felt exhausted. His head. He held his head in his hands and stared at the floor for long minutes. Gotta do something about that typo there, buddy. Then after what felt like an eternity, he got to his feet. He moved to gather all the framed pictures that had been on the furniture and stowed them away in a closet. They needed to be out of sight. When he was sure that there were no more pictures to put away, Tristan put his coat back on and went outside. It was cool, a bit dark, but there was still enough light to see by. It was the ideal time to take a walk. At least, that's what he would have thought. As he hurried along the sidewalk, the 30-year-old man was anything but relaxed. Nervously, he walked around her most familiar... Nervously, he walked around the most familiar places, looking for a serenity that seemed to be out of reach. While passing a park near his home, he heard a high-pitched, almost inaudible plea. His heart jumped, and he stopped, just like the music. That started again. This is a creepy behind song. At least the beginning part. Every single time I hear this, I always get like the jitters. It creeps me out. But anyway, while passing a park near his home, he heard oh wait, I read that already. Okay, in the dim light of the setting sun, he made out the silhouette of a little girl sitting on a swing with her head bowed. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Afraid of startling her, he made his way toward her silhouette and looked at her. Her clothes were crumpled. She had neither coat nor scarf, and there were scratches on her hands and arms as if she had been in a fight. Bullies? Damn bullies. Anyway, the park was completely deserted, and she seemed to have been there for a while. For a second, Tristan Mallory felt the urge to leave her there to whatever fate lay in store for her. But then he mentally chastised himself. You couldn't do that to a child. No, do what is right. So he knelt in front of her and asked in a soft voice, "Is something wrong?" At first the little girl seemed to not hear him. She choked on her sobs, hiccuped, and shuddered. Slowly, Tristan Mallory stroked her hair and repeated, "Wait, you straight touched the girl though?" Hands. In this day and age, a grown man just doesn't just touch some random little girl. It's just not right, unless you want to get caught by the cops, you know. Unless you want to go to jail. Unless you want to be deemed a pedophile. I mean, because I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. It's just something you don't do, okay? Anyway, just I mean, you don't even know this girl. It's a complete stranger. Why are you crying? What happened? It took long minutes for her to calm down enough to speak, but eventually, with her faint voice interrupted by sobs, she wiped out her tears and answered him. I don't know. I think I've lost something important, really important, but I can't remember what it was. Tristan Mallory sighed, feeling a mixture of compassion and pity. She seemed so lost, so vulnerable. He wanted to hold her so tightly. Her sadness melted away. Wait. He wanted to hold her so tightly that her sadness would melt away, and at the same time within him, a voice was telling him that he shouldn't be too forceful, and he shouldn't take advantage of her weakness. Absolutely, I agree with that notion. I agree with that. So he tried not to lose face, to look reassuring, yet in front of this sad little girl, he didn't feel self-confident at all. Oh, you're all alone. Where are Mommy and Daddy? I don't know. Do you live far away from here? I don't know. So apparently she has amnesia. What's your name? Ambre. Well, Amber, you can't stay here out in the wind, or you're going to catch a cold. You don't want to get sick, do you? No, I hate being sick. See? You gotta go warm yourself up somewhere. The night's getting close. But I don't know where to go. In that case, what do you think about going over to my place? It's not far away from here, and it'll make a much better sleeping place than the swing. Gosh dang, this beginning part of the song creeps me the hell out every single time. Amber seemed wary at first, but she had no other choice but to follow. He gently reached a hand to her, and for the first time, she lifted her eyes. They were washed out, blurry with tears and hesitant. He thought it a good idea to show her smiling face, to appear to be a reassured adult. Even with a fatigue, he caught her fine and frail hand and helped her get to her feet. So you just straight took her? Really? Just take her to my house. I mean, I understand if she didn't object, but it's just a little girl, and you're two strangers. You could at least call the cops about it, Tell the cops, hey, found a little girl, she's lost, But whatever. I guess for the sake of the plot, we might as well just keep going. The young girl's stops were wobbly and weak. She had probably not eaten all day long. He held her hand, making sure she wouldn't trip. And there you're at the house. Okay, the 30-year-old man removed his coat and shut the door behind him. Make yourself a home, I'll cook you something. Passing through the kitchen, he turned on the light in the living room, so his flat would look less gloomy. While roaming through his fridge looking for a good meal idea, he stole several glances over the counter. I guess he just keep watch over, Might as well. In the living room, Ambre was still walking around, a bit wild, still on the defensive, as she should be. She explored this new environment by looking around, admiring the ornaments. She didn't find much to pique her interest. It was a bland house, almost too bland. My kind of house, by the way. There was no clues about the occupants' lives. Exactly, which is why that's my type of house. Somebody comes in, they see all this, they see no type of decorations and whatnot. It's like, what kind of hobby does this guy have? So like, oh, always keep you guessing. But anyway, taking advantage of Tristan's being distracted by a packet of noodles, she escaped to the hallway and tried to find the bathroom. Is there ramen noodles, by the way? She found it quickly enough before returning to the hallway. Then she noticed that all the doors were wide open, except for one. She was drawn to that doorway even before she had time to think. Intrigued, Ambre felt magnetically attracted by the slightly open door. Just one peek was all she wanted, but she couldn't see anything through the crack. Is it dead bodies inside? Was the Bluebeard's was this Bluebeard's cabinet a frightening tomb where Tristan Mallory stored the corpses of his former wives? Oh no, might as well. That was the first thing that came to my mind. The little girl pushed the door open, entered the room, and switched the light on. Oh, okay. Alright. I was kind of apprehensive for a second. A little on edge here. Okay, so it was a bedroom with soft cushions filled with plushies. A big bed proudly throned in the center of the room. Looks a little bit more to the side, but yeah, whatever. Was accompanied by a pretty dressing table on one side. The walls were painted to look like a bright blue sky. The silver-rich furniture, coordinated with the sweet colors of trinkets, were overflowing with mysteries. On the nightstand, she could catch a glimpse of the nightlight, shaped as a cute mascot. There was a fairy-like ambience about the strange room, so that Ambre couldn't repress a little exclamation of surprise. Closing the door so that a 30-year-old wouldn't discover her hiding spot, she stretched out to the colorful bed, rolled into a ball, jumped up about, and snuck under the bed sheets. For an inexplicable reason, she felt at ease in this room worthy of a princess. Worthy of a princess, I'm sorry. It seemed to have been built for her, to correspond to her every fantasy. Well, it is a little girl's room, what do you expect? Then she noticed a big teddy bear which seemed to stare at her. Is that Petal Bear? Hello, Petal Bear. Immediately, she grabbed it, hugged it, and covered it with kisses. Petal Bear is absolutely happy about that and approves. Her pale face was illuminated by a wide, pure, innocent smile. A child's smile. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Tristan Mallory finished cooking the noodles. He was about to serve the meal when he noted the absence of a little girl. Slightly worried, he called for her. Amber? Amber, where are you? Nervous, he looked after her in all the rooms, checking to see if she was in the bathroom. He searched everywhere in the house until there was only... The entry door makes some noises when it's opened. I would have heard it if she had left. Can she be in there already? With a contrite sigh, he headed towards the forbidden room and found Amber playing with stuffed animals, as little girls usually do. His gaze softened. I suppose that I can't do anything, he thought to reassure himself. Without a word, he went to sit next to her. On the bed, the little girl moved the stuffed animals' hands while making them speak. In her weak voice, she was narrating the stuffed animal tea party and seemed to be enjoying herself, as little girls usually do. The light was back in her eyes. Suddenly, she got mad at a plump cow and scolded her harshly. Just for being a plump cow. You're too fat. It's dirty. Stop right now. Your udders is making a mess. Ollie, what did I just say? It's dirty. You gotta behave yourself. Stop squirting milk all over the damn bed. Damn bed? Bed. Over the damn bed. Don't run on the floor. Your udders will get dirty. You shouldn't make a fuss just because you didn't get what you wanted. What? She wanted milk in her tea. Can't have milk in her tea? Gosh. Or maybe... I mean, she could easily just put milk in her tea by herself, but... I mean, if you're forbidding Allie from doing that, then I think you're being a little bit unreasonable here, don't you think? As punishment, she sent the cow in a corner, ordering her not to move before replacing her with a pony with long eyelashes. Because ponies are pretty, cows are nuts. The stuffed animal tea party, hosted by the Blue Monkey, was obviously not going as planned. So the monkey was the host, yet you took charge of the tea party. I'm not understanding, but whatever. The 30-year-old man eyed the little girl's every move with care. She finally noticed his presence. He felt he had to speak. Are you having fun? Yeah, I didn't know there was a bedroom like this in your house. Whose room is it? It was my wife's favorite room before she left. Just say before she passed on, before she died, or maybe she left you for another man. I don't know, whatever reason. What happened to her? It's a long story. Okay, there's a smile on your face, so it's probably not all that bad. Maybe I'll tell you another time. Meanwhile, the meal is getting colder. Do you want to eat? Of course, what do we eat? Bologna sauce with pasta. Ebola and pasta. Good. Great. I love it. Love Ebola and pasta. Ebola pasta is great. Awesome. I would have some Ebola pasta right now if I wanted to. That evening, Tristan Mallory admired Amber as she wolfed down her Ebola food. He felt half amused, half distracted because of the Ebola. Seeing her so happy soothed his heart a little, but at the same time, she might die from Ebola pasta. Are you tired? The child asked suddenly with a serious air, due to the Ebola pasta. A little. I worked hard today. She said nothing, because of the Ebola. Still amazed by the princess's bedroom, she revived the topic with starry eyes. Starry eyes because of the Ebola. Do you like it? Yeah, a lot. I wish I had a similar room. If you want it, I'll give it to you. This guy is extremely generous. Really? My wife left a long time ago. Her stuff is still inside and I don't use it. So, if you like, it's yours. I just noticed the Bomberman eyes. You see that? The Bomberman eyes. I love those eyes. I don't know why I like Bomberman eyes. I just find it so interesting. Anyway. They look like little... Remember Pong? That's what they look like. Just looks like Pong. Her eyes look like Pong. You can stay in her room while I'm looking for your parents and what you lost. What do you say? You can get the cops to do it. I mean, get the police. If it's such a big deal. Can I really? But it doesn't belong to me. Sure enough, doesn't. There is nothing sadder than a house without life, isn't it? Depends on the person, if you ask me. I would rather have my entire... If I were to have a place of my own, I'd rather it not have anything just me in it. But that's just me. I know that my wife loved the rest and her favorite room. There she felt at ease, like on a cloud. But now she's not living here anymore. So is she dead? Did she leave you for somebody? Is she on a vacation somewhere and never wanted to come back? Did she leave you without any explanation? Because you don't seem to be telling me what's going on. You seem to like this place, so I think it would make her happy to know that her bedroom is in good hands. So wait, that is your wife's bedroom. Your wife's bedroom looks like something from a little girl's dream. Why is your wife's bedroom like something that you would expect Amber to be sleeping in? I mean, stuffed animals and all that. Then again, if you watch the movie called Oscar, there is a character who happens to be a daughter of the mafia boss or whatever. And I guess she's what? She's like in her 18, 19s, 20s, I don't know. But, you know, she has stuffed animals and all that stuff all over the place, so I guess it's understandable. And I can do whatever I want in it. And I can do whatever I want in it? While I'm at work, you'll be able to play in this room as much as you want, because I'm a generous son of a butch. Butch, yeah, son of a butch. I'll leave you some leftovers for the lunch. You'll only have to heat them up in the microwave. And in the evening, we'll play together if you'd like to. Do I need to go to school? No more school, only games. Yeah, because, you know, that's good for kids. No school, you know. I mean, for me, I really wouldn't care. I mean, no school for me, that's fine. I can learn stuff from YouTube. That's kind of how I do things now. I learn everything from YouTube and the internet. I don't do school. Yay, great then. Yeah, I know. Isn't it great? In front of Amber's overflowing enthusiasm, Tristan Mallory, who happens to have an extremely sad face right now, couldn't help but smile faintly, almost pitifully. I like how the text just totally ignored what I just said and what this guy's face has. But we're gonna move on. Yes, that's it indeed, he kept telling himself, as if to reassure himself. All I'm doing is keeping her around until she remembers who she is and what she's lost. Waiting for her to remember. Thus began their strange routine. Tristan Mallory woke up early in the morning to go to work, but because of the freaking music that is playing at the very beginning, I had to stop myself and really leave and rush into the fog, because I had to take a few minutes of preparation to face a daily grind and a few brief minutes on the threshold of her door, gazing at the sleeping Amber. Then he ran away through the streets covered by dead leaves, escaping far away toward the mountains of paperwork, toward that baleful tower furnished by vast offices, where the slaves, chained to their computers, toiled away for the lord of that place. Sounds like a pretty bad job. Anyway, that was what the little girl thought his working day looked like. Oh, well, of course. Alright, that makes sense. As for her, she woke up easily around 9 a.m., and her first reflex was to stretch and yawn in front of cartoons with a bowl of cereal in hand. Wait, how the hell she do that? Usually when I wake up, first thing that usually would come to mind is I would stretch and yawn maybe. Maybe. I mean, me personally, I don't stretch and yawn. I just wake up and then I look around over at my window to see if it's morning, and I'm like, ugh, it's morning, great. I really like the morning, by the way, but stretching and yawning, yeah, that makes sense. But in front of cartoons, so what, did you leave the TV on? With a bowl of cereal in hand? So you slept, you had a bowl of cereal overnight, and you woke up stretching and yawning, and you just happen to still have that bowl of cereal in hand. Did you go to sleep while eating cereal? I'm not understanding. But apparently that's the first reflex. She didn't get up to get cereal or anything like that. She didn't turn on the TV. That was the first thing she did. She stretched and yawned in front of cartoons with a bowl of cereal in hand. So, yeah, that's what you call being prepared. So anyway, she followed her favorite heroines' ventures. All of them were beautiful and courageous. All of them were friends for life. Princesses with elegant superpowers, covered with light effects and flower petals. Kinda like Sailor Moon. Or maybe Pretty Cure? I think, or Pre-Tier? I don't know, one of them. I know it's not Maho Shoujo. Madoka Magica. I'm pretty sure it's not that. Rich and loved, they lived a perfect and inviolable existence. Yeah, it's totally not that one. It's totally not that. Especially the main character who owned a bedroom very similar to Ambre's. It was colorful and filled with cute accessories. Yeah, totally not Madoka Magica. It's totally not. However, this room was only a part of a bigger palace furnished the same way. So it could possibly be Sailor Moon. In the Moon Crystal Power, whatever, castle, whatever it's called. How I would like to live in a castle as well, just like every other little girl would. With her cute friends, the heroine hunted the villains, fell into traps, and called for help from her charming prince, an ideal and fantasied man, who served her hand and foot. So, Tuxedo Mask. Okay, so this is probably Sailor Moon. Life seemed easy, full of laughs and adventures. All that was needed was to send back the nasty woman to her hiding place in the darkness. After all, she was nasty because she envied the young dazzling girls. Nasty because she was old and disillusioned. Amber would have loved to have magical powers allowing her to make cute outfits appear, allowing her to have a stable where unicorns slept. Because that's Sailor Moon, I think, allowing her to have a ballroom where she can organize extravagant parties based on beautiful dresses and cupcakes. Sounds like Sailor Moon. It was always really disappointing for her to see the end of the episode. Of course, there were other programs with a story with magical jewels. Jewels was her favorite one. Because she's a girl. Magical jewels? Oh my god. When the cartoons ended, she went to fill in her coloring books, daydreaming about being among those heroines. Not heroines, but heroines. And then, at midday, she heated up the leftovers that Tristan had left and went back to watching TV. New programs awaited her. Again, she had her favorite, the one where a little girl owned a puppy that was different from the others. It was a red puppy. Clifford, the big red dog, who could sneak around. Wait, hold up. I don't think Clifford the big red dog can actually sneak around. If there was actually an episode where Clifford the big red dog was able to sneak around the neighborhood, I would count that neighborhood as an extremely retarded neighborhood. I'm sorry, like the IQ has to be way below double digits. I mean, I'm just saying. It was also very adorable with big eyes and its comical expressions that made her melt. I would like to have a dog that cute. The mail passed quickly to the rhythm of opening songs that she knew by heart. This was it was usually the time when Tristan called to make sure everything was okay. She never missed this opportunity to tell him the content of the episodes a day, how the heroine had defeated the evil witch with her magic mirror. Yeah, that is totally Sailor Moon. That's totally Sailor Moon. How the little dog had helped her mistress at school and so on. You know what? Little dog. Okay, so it's not a big red dog. It's a red puppy. It's a little red puppy that... Okay, you know what? If anything, this is probably a reference to Hamtaro. Because Hamtaro, in many of the episodes in Hamtaro, he would help Laura, his owner, to go, in her daily life. So it's probably more so than he's good at sneaking around, so that's probably that. Anyway, relieved he would start eating his sandwiches without appetite, sated more by the little girl's words than by his meal. She hung up, satisfied with his story, then after the last cartoon, turned off the television to rest in her big bed, surrounded by her stuffed toys. Usually at the same time, she read a fairy tale. She loved to tell herself the story of Cinderella again and again while sucking her teddy bear's ear. It was her favorite. The story or the bear's ear? Either way, Pedo Bear is happy. People and life itself were nasty with Cinderella every day. She had to work hard. It was exhausting. She had to earn her every meal, and the nasty, ugly sisters believed themselves superior. Fortunately, the prince recognized the heroine's natural talent. She was pretty, and she was special. Because being pretty is considered a talent nowadays. He brought her with him to his castle to live a golden existence where she wouldn't have to work her fingers to the bone, where the money flowed freely, where Cinderella could have everything she wanted, including all the things that shone: accessories, dresses, cakes. Red liking those cakes. All she had to do was fill time was all she had to do to fill time was to organize parties with her friends. The ugly sisters were not invited. They were too ugly, too rude, and they did not deserve such a paradise. Now, I think the whole thing with them being too ugly, I think that's stretching it a bit. It's kind of unfair. You can't just not invite people because of the way they look. I think you're kind of overstepping your boundaries here, little girl. But then again, this is Cinderella we're talking about. Who gives a crap about anybody else's lives, alright? Anyway, Cinderella was happy. She lived in a manner of the only real or true love. The kind of love with gilding and glitter, whatever the heck gilding is. For what more could she ask? I don't know, she's freaking Cinderella. Ambre fell asleep happy, hoping to meet her charming prince one day. She dreamed of the one who would only have eyes for her, and would give her a room like the one the princess that admired so much had. You got a princess room! And the person who gave you that room is Tristan Mallory. And if you're dreaming of the one who only have eyes for you, who would give you such a room, going by this logic, you might have eyes for Tristan, right? I mean, it's kind of setting itself up to that way, but I'll just keep reading to see if it turns out to be that way. Actually, you know what? I don't have much time left, so I'm going to be stopping here right now. Thank you guys for watching. My name is DemiDon of DemiDon Games, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Until then, so long.
You're not about that life. Not about that life. You're not about that life. You're not about that life. You was not about that life. My friend, you was not about that.